We are now only 6 days away from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, a game that has risen up the rankings in terms of my most anticipated RPGs of 2025, almost eclipsing any other game on my list. I am so excited for this game, and I want to break down everything you need to know if you're on the fence of playing or potentially not playing this game before release. Now, if you don't know, on the base level, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a first-person open world RPG set in medieval Bohemia. And this game's going to be picking up directly where the first game left off. You're still going to be playing as Henry, the main protagonist from the first game. There's going to be a lot of returning characters here as well. You're still going to be on that goal to avenge your murdered parents. On top of that, reach the Court of Kings all the way down from being that humble blacksmith and having those humble beginnings. There's going to be a lot of revenge here, a lot of betrayal, a lot of exploration and discovery about the world. That is really what this story is about in a nutshell, and obviously there's a ton more to come when we actually sit down and play the game. And if you are wondering, do you have to play the first game to enjoy the second game? No. Obviously, if you play the first game, you're going to have some context there. You're going to know some of these characters that are returning. You're going to kind of understand the background, but they specifically made this game for the sole purpose that new and returning players can enjoy it. Obviously, there might be some more enjoyment for returning players because they have some of that context. They might get some of those Easter eggs here and there, etc. However, you are still going to be able to enjoy this game as a new player. They made it for that. However, I definitely would recommend playing the first game for the single purpose that it's absolutely incredible. I finally played it over the last few weeks, and all it will do is make you more excited for this game. On top of that, you'll probably appreciate the improvements more if you played the first game and then just went straight into the second one afterwards, but with only a week left of time, I can completely understand why people don't have that time. Now, moving away from the story, and obviously I hope it's good, I hope the time you spend doing it is actually very fulfilling and fun, but obviously, what are you going to be spending most of your time doing in this game? You're going to be spending it messing around, doing whatever the hell you want. And being that first-person open-world RPG, Warhorse is aiming to make this game have almost more freedom than any RPG we have seen. Once the prologue ends, it is your choice. You can go take on side quests with tons of different dialogue options and consequences based on how you wanted to do that specific side quest. You can go around killing all of the NPCs in a town. You can start stealing people's horses and riding through the countryside and just finding random things to do and fighting random enemies out in the world and stealing their loot. You can steal from the townsfolk and be flogged in the middle of the town. You can go out and start hunting animals. You can just go around and pick up flowers for hours and start doing herbalism. You can literally do whatever you want in this game, and that's what makes it so damn great. But on top of just doing what you want, it's the reactivity to your actions that is going to make this game so amazing, and what they're aiming to do that is literally going to be groundbreaking in an RPG like this. If you haggle with one of the vendors in the city too much, they're not going to let you try to buy from them anymore. They're going to be annoyed at you. If you walk around and smell like shit, people are going to comment on that, so you have to make sure you wash yourself. If you walk in with a sword out, or just even a sword in general, they're going to think that you are a threat. They're not just going to look at you like in Starfield with a gun pointed at them and say, hello, how are you doing? We've even seen some NPCs in the town, and we've heard that they have different personalities, where some are going to alert the guards if they see you stealing, for example, and others are going to try to hide it away and say, hey, make sure you're not getting caught with any guards looking while you're stealing here. Like, that is so damn badass. We've even seen if you kill somebody's husband, they're going to be seen in front of their house crying the next day. Like, this stuff is insane, and it is groundbreaking in terms of being immersed into an open world RPG. It definitely seems like they're not offering the illusion of this choice like so many other games do. They're actually giving you choices and consequences and reactivity all within a big RPG, which is something a lot of people have wanted for a long time because of so many games having that illusion of choice, telling you that you can be the character you want to be, but you can't actually be that character. In this game, it at least looks like so far, and what people have been saying that have played the game, it looks like you can. There are so many damn voice lines and options here to choose from, and dialogue in general, that they broke the world record. They even beat Baldur's Gate 3 for the most amount of text in their game. Now moving on, I do want to talk about some of the very unique mechanics that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to have, specifically its combat, which it is simplified but also bringing over a very similar combat system from Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. Now, but this franchise has a very unique and realistic combat system, something that I haven't necessarily seen in any game other than similar to something like For Honor. But honestly, this combat system is also something that kept me away from the game because I tend to like action combat, sometimes turn-based, even tab target combat. That's the combat that I've always enjoyed in games. That more realistic style of combat isn't something that I've always loved, but after playing the first game, it is very, very immersive, and I actually learned to absolutely love it. And in the second game, they're going to be simplifying it. So in the first one, you struck in a number of directions, and if they weren't blocking, you get the hit. If they were blocking, you hit their shield. And that's pretty much at a very base level what the combat is like in the game, with a number of different weapons. Obviously, some weapons are different with the bows, etc. It's not going to be necessarily exactly the same. However, in the second game, they are simplifying this by reducing the number of areas that you're able to strike in, which actually I think it looks like a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more simple for new players to understand, and in general, new and existing players have both reviewed and said that this is kind of the best of both worlds for this combat system. But this combat also gets a lot deeper than just that. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, for example, there's going to be some dodging here where you can get behind your opponent easier. You're going to be able to break shields and break armor, etc. On top of this, there are combos that you can do. There are strikes that you can do if you time something specifically to the enemy strike. There's a lot more depth here, which didn't really get explained very well in the first game specifically. It's something that after playing the first game, I definitely see why people wanted them to explain some of these more in-depth versions of the combat system earlier in the game. And in terms of not just simplifying the combat system, they are also doing a lot better in the second game at teaching the player, especially these new players, the more in-depth versions of the combat system in general, which is something that I think is very, very good. And again, people that have already played it, both new and returning players, say they do a great job of doing this very early on into the game. Now, lastly, I do want to talk about the progression in this game, because obviously you're going to be going through the story and the side quests and everything like that, but you're also going to be progressing Henry as a character to be stronger throughout your game through the use of perks and through the use of different gear. Now, gear is pretty basic. You're not going to have a ton of different modifiers, for example, like you see in ARPGs or games like Skyrim, for example. But instead of this, it's replaced with stab defense or slash defense or blunt defense, for example. Even visibility, charisma, durability, all of this is going to be important stats on your gear that you're going to have to look at depending what situation you're in or what character that you want to build around. On top of the gear, you're going to also progress by the use of perk points that you get from leveling up different skills and leveling up your character with whatever you're currently doing. Now, in the first game, a lot of the perks had both positive and negatives to them. In the second game, it looks like a lot of those negatives were taken away. However, these perks can be absolutely awesome. Some are relatively basic and some can be very unique. For example, you can get some basic ones like just increasing your regeneration of your stamina in combat, quicker healing, etc. But you can even get some crazy ones like the more you poison yourself or drink alcohol, the higher your vitality gets. Or even one like the pacifist perk, for example, that if you don't kill anybody for 12 in-game minutes, then you actually get improvements to your speech. But if you kill somebody, you're going to lose those improvements. And what I love about the perk system in this game specifically is that you're really going to be able to define and build around the character that you want to be based on the different skills you're currently leveling up at the time, which hopefully is just going to lend even more to that immersive RPG experience that this game is aiming to offer. Now, at a baseline level, that's everything you need to know about this game, but there's obviously so much more to this game than even that I covered in this video. I definitely recommend checking out some of the preview reviews that people have already done, from like Wolfheart FPS, for example, has a very good video on this game. There's also a ton of other YouTubers as well out in the RPG space that has already had time to play this game, because they did give review copies out 4 weeks in advance of this game releasing. But I genuinely think them bringing over all of those unique mechanics from the first game, making them more simple, making them more refined and polished for both new and returning players to experience, is something that they have done very well from what we have seen so far, which is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people, at least in my opinion, didn't play the first game. It was a little bit too clunky. It had a little bit too many bugs and had that jank to it, which they really tried to work on for the second game, given the success that the first game actually had. This looks to be the Kingdom Come Deliverance game that they really wanted to make the first time around, and they actually got the chance to with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I'm so damn excited to play this game. Now, this game is actually releasing a week early as well on February 4th now, instead of the original February 11th date that it was going to be on. On top of that, it's going to be $60 instead of the $70, so hopefully this video got you excited about this game if you're interested in it. If you're not interested in it, maybe this video made you less excited for this game if you don't like some of those bigger open world type of experiences, but just in general, I definitely think this is one of the top RPGs of 2025, and I'm really hoping that is actually going to be the case once the game does come out for public release. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down below if you're excited for this game and why, if you're not excited for this game and why, if you're going to be buying it day one. I would just love to hear what you guys have to say about it down below in the comments. On top of that, if you are new to the channel and you like this video, please like the video, subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!